Enjoying the supernatural supply or protection or covering is our title today. Enjoying the supernatural covering. Why covering? You must understand that before God can cover you, you must be under a covenant. What is a covenant? A covenant is an agreement between two people. For you to escape the cruel of this world, the key is having respect over a covenant. You find some people, they are believers, but they have no covenant with divinity. For you to escape the cruelty of this world, you must be a person who has respect, who has regard over covenant. Once you have respect over covenant, then you will be exempted from every cruel that this world has upon everybody. Everybody in this world is cruel. But for you to escape that cruel, you must have respect over covenant. There are people that they are living their life anyhow. When you live your life anyhow, you'll be so embarrassed that every flying devil will come upon you. Have respect over a covenant. What is a covenant? An agreement between God and man. An agreement between a spirit and a human being. When you see people like us that stand before you every day, they are spirits that guard and move with us every day. Every person, including you that are here, whether you know it or not, they need a spirit that is governing your life, day-to-day life. You get to have a respect over a covenant. You can't just be here coincidence. It can't be. There must be a spirit that is governing your life. For you to enjoy supernatural covering, there must be a covenant between you and the spirit. God is willingly to abide with people that know the power of covenant. People live the anyhow life. They'll always have anyhow results. In 2 Timothy chapter 2 verse number 13, God is willingly to abide forever with you as long as you keep your covenant.
If we believe not, yet he abideth faithful, he cannot deny himself.
You see, God is not going to deny his covenant side. I said the covenant is between two people. Your side, if you don't believe, no problem. But on his side, you abide forever. You won't change. He won't deny himself. His covenant side is intact. But your side, you may not believe. But on his side, you won't deny his side. That's why, as a believer, get to a place where you understand your covenant with God. And everything that you do for God, make sure that it's backed by a covenant. When you see people that today they say they will do it, tomorrow they change, they have not yet understood the power of covenant. People that have come to maturity, people that understand how God does things with his people, they are very attentive and very careful to every step they take. Covenant keeping God. That is the paraphrased vision of 2 Timothy 2:13. He says, if we believe not, but on his side, he abides and he will never deny himself. But no, it's not me who says that. Oh, I did not agree to that. No, you won't change. You will always stick to what he is saying. So next time you think about doing something with God, make sure tomorrow don't change. Because Psalms 89 verse 34, the Bible says, my covenant will I not break. So make sure that every time you get into a dealing with God, make sure you don't break your covenant. A man that is to operate in high frequency of the spirit, there are few covenants you must have that must govern your life. You must get to a place where you have got dealings with God. What is that thing that you are doing for God that makes you not breathe properly when you're not doing it? Or the moment you feel like you have missed doing it, you feel like the spirit is leaving your body. What is that particular thing? Have something that you know deep down your heart. But once you delay to do that particular thing, you feel pressed, you feel squeezed. That is how covenant works. My covenant will I not break. the day you are going to have a battle with the spirit, you'll be so surprised that spirit don't give up until the demands have been fulfilled. If you are smart enough or wiser enough, you realize that every year, the particular month, something will happen in your life. Because there is a spirit that is in charge of that particular thing, and yet you have not yet met the demand of that spirit. That's why that thing keeps on happening. The day you are going to meet the demand of the spirit, that thing that keeps on recurring every month, every year, that particular month, it happens to stop. Spirits, they can torment you for generation to generation. Every year, spirit don't miss time. I tried it many times. I will say, okay, tomorrow, okay, meet me next year, this time. Next, the following year, that particular day, particular hour, the spirit will encounter. I did not get it. I used to laugh, like, I used to think that they'll forget when I'll mention a long, as if they have nothing to do. On the spot, the same year, on the spot, bam, all of you that are here, every year, something happens to you on a particular day. If you are smart enough, you will notice that, that thing, no matter how much you pray, it will still come. Why? That particular time, there is a covenant that needs to be renewed. So unless you meet the demand of that spirit, it will not stop. That's why even Jesus, when he came, he said something. He said, I have not come to break the law, but I have come to fulfill the law. There are two different things: to break the law and to fulfill the law. What is to fulfill? To meet the demand of the spirit. There was the law before that required men to live in a certain way, until Jesus came to fulfill the demands of the spirit. It could have carried on forever. You think when it comes to covenant, you think you are going to pray and fast. No. Pray and fast, you see, do not stop. There are many prayer warriors that are victim of what I'm talking about. However they pray, however they fast, things is to stand. Some of you have been praying for certain things that don't stop. It's because there are spiritual demands that need to be met. That's why now the part of covenant comes in. It's one thing to pray for somebody who is being afflicted by a devil just because it's an attack. And it's another thing to pray for somebody who's been afflicted by the devil because of a covenant. Because altars only respond to altars. And on altars, that's where exchange of covenant are made. So whenever you are to pray for somebody, first of the thing that I do is I check them, look at you for a long time, check, is this problem you are suffering a covenant or not? So if there is a covenant now, I don't bind. I now travel into the spiritual realm while I'm looking at you and begin to negotiate with the spirit that is afflicting you. Tell them what needs to be done. Okay, well, how did it? Then at the same time, I'm still talking to the spirit, and again I exit, and I now begin to consult with my spirit. So for us to eradicate that problem, what needs to be done? Now the spirit will give me instruction. Then I'll come and tell you that we need to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Go and do this and do this. Now if you have raised up, just it's impossible. Just get annoyed and you go. Well, I've seen the demand, the covenant demand. Because the problem with covenant, they don't break. They need to be fulfilled. Bible says, my covenant will I not break. So spirits have got, once you enter in a covenant with a spirit, there are so many demands that covenant needs. That's why you need to be very spiritual man to understand the legalities of the spirit. Otherwise, you'll be praying amiss. Once you enter in a covenant with God, however you try, the Bible says you will never be able to stop it unless you are able to stop the covenant of the sun and the covenant of the moon. So for you, you think the sun just keeps showing up every morning, not knowing that the sun is keeping showing up every morning because of a covenant. For God to put this sun and this moon and the stars to keep showing up every morning without missing is because of a covenant. For you to see the strength of a covenant, the sun must show up every morning at a certain time without miss throughout the ages. That's what God is saying to you. Once a covenant is in place with you, that covenant at that particular time is to be activated without prayer, without fasting. So once you are in a covenant with the spirit, that spirit will show up exactly on time every year without missing. Jeremiah 33 verse 20 to 21. That's how difficult it is, because covenant is all about time. For God to compare his covenant with the covenant of the sun and the moon is to tell you that every time you're in a covenant with the Spirit will show up every year on the spot at the same time until the demands are met. Jeremiah 33 verse 20 to 21. He said, if you can break my covenant of the day and of the night, that the day should not come. So you see, they don't just come because God is almighty. No. They come because there is a covenant for it to come. Even time is a covenant. Imagine that you enter in a covenant with the Spirit on a particular time. That covenant, it will come every year on that time, not because of a demon, but because of a time. The moment the time comes, that covenant comes. That is how difficult spirituality is. That's why I said, if you are smart enough, you realize the particular thing that keeps coming to you every year on particular seasons. That when that season comes, that problem comes. It will go. After that season passes, that problem will pass. Next year again it comes. Why? Because that attack came to you on a particular time. As soon as that time comes, that problem will be automatically activated. Until another requirement is made, then that thing will be averted automatically. And it will never show up again. There are many of us that are suffering afflictions of covenant, but you don't understand. So you need to get to a place where you grow up and understand how spirituality works. Number 3, you must know that for God on his side, because of covenant, he will fight for you. Isaiah chapter number 49 verse 25. God will always fight for the people that are in a covenant with him. Always, not sometimes. But thus saith the Lord, even the captives of the mighty shall be taken away, and the prey of the terrible shall be delivered. For I will contend with him that contendeth with thee, and I will save your children. So God is committed to fight with everybody that is fighting with you, and your children will be saved. When you enter in a covenant with God, your enemies becomes God's enemies, and your children will be protected. So every time you want to understand the power of God, activate the power of covenant. The problem is you are moving without a covenant. You are just moving just like that. We are Christian, you come to church when you feel like, when you don't feel like, you stop. You do things for God when you feel like, when you don't feel like, you don't. It's because you are not under a covenant. Once you are in a covenant with the Spirit, you know that you cannot break your side of story, because God, according to 2 Timothy 2 verse 13, he said he abides forever and he will never forsake himself. Covenant is what will make God to fight for you. God not just going to fight for you because you are coming to church. No. Everybody come to church. Even right now, this building, not many people are worshiping. But it's not like everybody God is going to fight for them. Only those that are like God. In Isaiah 41 verse 11, the Bible says, behold, all they that were incensed against thee shall be ashamed and confounded. They shall be as nothing, and they that strive with thee shall perish. For people to perish just by thinking evil of you, you must be under a serious covenant. He says, they that contend with you are covenant, and they shall perish. Covenant makes you to stand forever. The reason why you will not see there how God is going to shift things for you is because you're not under a covenant. The moment you're going to say, this one I'm doing it for you because of the covenant. This is my side of covenant. I'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. God will tell you, perfect. On my side, I'll do 1, 2. Forget. God will never stop protecting those things. Well, as soon as God says, this is what I'll do for you. And you also say, this is what I'll do. And you make sure you don't miss. Every time, whether you feel it or you don't feel it, you just go up and perform your side of story. Also, even more, you'll be doing. When you're under covenant, you don't need fighting all these battles. Nah. You'll be so surprised. So many people will go down for your sake. You know, go down for your sake. That's the power of covenant. You must understand that God will fight for you. That's the key number 1. God will fight for you. We live a life of our power. The Bible says God will recompense tribulation to them that fight you. 2 Thessalonians 1 verse 6. You will recompense tribulation to your enemies. If you are under a covenant, you don't need to fight anybody. Just know that everybody will be rewarded with tribulation for fighting. Whenever someone tries to fight you, the reward is tribulation. You can't fight me and succeed. It's impossible. Once you just tell yourself that I'm tired of seeing good things in my life, then try to fight me. Let me tell you something. When you are under a covenant, you are dangerous with God. What is it that you are going to be doing that will make God to always visit you every year, every month, at a particular day? Because you must have a covenant. That covenant will make God every year to visit you at a particular time. God, this is what I'm going to do. But when you decide, I want you to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 for me. And every time I'll do this one, that means come rain, come sun. I tell you, every year God will visit you at that particular season without miss, because He said, if only you can break my covenant with this time, the day and the evening, then you can break my covenant. When you get into a covenant right now, as you are seated here, you'll be so surprised which church will not become the issue in your life. Never. Will never be a part of you. When somebody try to touch you, they'll just go down effortlessly. Where? Why? Because they touched a naked wire. That is a life of covenant. You don't fear nothing. For God to fight for you, you must be under a covenant. The 2 Thessalonians 1:6. God calls it righteous thing to avenge. The word recompense there means to reward tribulation to them that trouble you. He said it's a righteous thing. Then me, when I'm telling you that people fight me, they go down like, but that is wickedness. But God says it's a righteous thing to recompense tribulation to them that trouble you. So when you are under covenant, someone doesn't need to touch you. They just need to trouble you. Once they trouble you, a covenant automatically is devoid. And God calls it righteous thing. That cannot apply to you if you are not under a covenant. The moment somebody trouble you on the spot, God will recompense them with righteousness of tribulation. Maybe you don't know what righteousness means. Right standing. It's your right to get tribulation on the spot because you troubled somebody you shouldn't